yeah, so she's been feeding on demand pretty much up until now. I have been reducing it ever so slightly, but it's just so convenient, you know, as a single parent. You know, I'll probably offer it to her at times when she probably didn't need it. It was just kind of convenient for me, you know, like so that I needed her to be like calm and quiet and still for a few minutes. And I didn't really hold back on it because, you know, it's the best thing for her development. You know, this stuff is made for her, so it's like, it makes sense just to give her as much of it as possible. But yeah, I've come to this decision because I feel like it's really depleting me. We just keep going through like regressions in her sleep. And we'll get maybe like the occasional night, or I'll get the occasional night where she'll sleep, you know, from when I put her to bed, which before was maybe around between 10 and 11, and she'd occasionally sleep up until like 5. So yeah, it's been a journey, intentionally doing it or working towards weaning since I got back off holiday, which was pretty much a month ago to the day. So she started having sleepovers with her grandma once a week on my 30th birthday, which was just before we went away. And I knew from then I wanted to keep those sleepovers regular so that just to help her get used to not being with me every night and just see how she got on without me. So she co-sleeps with her grandma when she stays there, and sometimes her cousin if he's there as well. And she was sleeping through the night straight away, of course. Maybe getting like 9-10 hours, maybe waking up once or twice and, you know, looking for me, and but then going back to sleep. So I knew that she could do it. So we went away, and because we were going to be co-sleeping while we were away, I was like, there's no point trying to do it now. It's just, the holiday needed to be a reset for many reasons. You can see on my previous videos if you want to see how we got on there. But yeah, when we got back from the first night getting back, she was sleeping. I put her in her own room to sleep. Before that I would just do it on occasion, which I knew kind of really wasn't the best thing. So yeah, started putting her in her own room every night as standard, trying to bring her bedtime earlier, aiming to get her in bed by 8:30. Sometimes it would happen earlier, but generally wouldn't really manage to do it by 9 until 9. But she was going to sleep earlier to begin with. And I cycled around the want to kind of try and wean her through the night for a while. Usually in line with my hormones, because when, you know, on those days of your cycle when you're kind of extra depleted and you kind of just don't really want to be touched, she would be, I would at least feel that she was like extra needing me to be there and be on me all the time, and extra mischievous, extra energetic. It was just a clash. So a fair few times after I got my periods back, which was, I think I brought it in using herbs because I felt ready to, you know, bleed again. Probably when she was about 16 months. Yeah, so on those nights when I felt like she was up like every half an hour, I was like, I need to stop, I need to wean her through the night. I was like, I'm just gonna not give her any through the night, and just try and soothe her. And I think that came around like 3 times. And I got to the first feed and I was trying to soothe her, but you know how it is, you know, I was used to dream feeding, like roll over, put my boob in her mouth, she would go back to sleep, I'd go back to sleep. But then like actually having to wake up properly and soothe her, I was like, no, I just don't have it in me. I do not have it in me. and it didn't last very long. And then hormones, I guess, regulated, and I was like, okay, it's not too bad, I can deal with this. So started the sleepovers about a month and a half ago, sleeping in her own bed every night for a month ago. And I was talking to some friends, some other mother friends who I have, friends who are mothers, who were in a similar place, and one of them gave me the suggestion to just say stuff like, Booby's gone to bed, Booby's gone to sleep, we'll have it in the morning. And I don't really, that's changed now, but don't really have the space to kind of like look into this and research it, and also with the way that I digest information, I prefer to have conversations and ask people who've got like lived experience and who I kind of connect with and who are a similar mindset. But yeah, I could read more books about it and watch more videos, but I started watching more YouTube videos on breastfeeding and stuff. But yeah, one of the tips that my friend gave me was to say Booby's gone to bed. So I tried that. I tried it for the first time, I think, when we were still away, and she just was like, okay, rolled over, went back to sleep. And I was like rubbing her back and stuff, but yeah, she only woke up for maybe like 5 minutes and then slept. I think she had like a full night's sleep while we were away at some point, maybe 2 of those. And then we came back, and it kind of went out of the window a little bit. I think the transition from being away to coming back just felt really intense. I don't know exactly what was going on, because the journey was really smooth. We were able to rest a lot on the holiday. But yeah, for the first few days after getting back, I was just completely wiped out, and very dysregulated. So yeah, it kind of went out of the window a little bit. So yeah, she's been sleeping at her grandma's pretty much weekly for the past 4-5 weeks, and she's been doing fine. She's been sleeping probably about 9-10 hours through the night, waking up on occasion, sometimes not. I think the last time she stayed over, she didn't wake up at all, and slept from, well, I think she had a late night actually, to be fair. Anyway, that doesn't matter, but she had a good night's sleep and she's been fine. And I drop her off on the morning, and her grandma brings her back the following evening. So basically I have 2 whole days without her and 1 full night. And we breastfeed when she gets home, also because I'm really full at that point. And we get to reconnect and everything like that. And then she'll go to bed. Sometimes she'll already be sleeping by the time she arrives, because it's an hour's drive. So sometimes she'll fall asleep in the car, and then we just go straight to bed. She breastfeeds if she wakes up. Well, no, probably, yeah. She'll breastfeed if she wakes up when I put her down, or she'll breastfeed just kind of, when she's awake, and then we'll go to bed maybe like an hour later. And she now sleeps on average, she'll go to sleep between 9 and 9:30. And then she doesn't wake up, and she wakes up and comes into my room around between 4 and 5:30 in the morning, sometimes earlier. So I brought back in, Booby's gone to bed when she comes into bed. And for the first couple of nights when she came, it's like Booby's gone to bed, and she just rolls over and she's been fine. But in the past maybe 4 nights, 3-4 nights, she's just not had any of it. There's been more than that actually, probably about 5 or 6 nights, she's just not been having any of it. So I've been like, okay, let me just give her some boob when she first comes in, just to make sure she's not thirsty or hungry, because admittedly I've not really tried giving her water. I just kind of know that she's not really going to be into water, and I just don't, I'm going to try it eventually, but I just don't want to run the risk of her waking up properly and just like, that, what is this he's trying to give me? and like be ready for a fight, and then we're both up for hours. I just don't want to do that, but I will eventually start trying to give her water. So the past few nights, it's been like a fight. I've been trying to say, no, Booby's sleeping. She's been like clawing at my chest. If I'm wearing a top, she'll be like pulling my top down and kicking me in the stomach and punching me and screaming and wailing and rolling around and not really fully going back to sleep. So I've eventually given in and given her some boob, just to make sure she's not thirsty or hungry. And on occasion, and most of the time beforehand, she'll just have me for maybe like 5 minutes and detach herself. Like I'd usually fall back to sleep, she'd fall back to sleep pretty quick. But then she'd always, or most of the time anyway, unlatch herself. But yeah, over the last few days, she's just not been. So I've been doing one side, I guess drifting off slightly, but then knowing that I need to do the other side, so I'll take my boob out of her mouth, and then she will usually just know to go to the other side. But then when she's on that second side, I'll like fully go back to sleep, and I'll wake up after. I mean, I've stopped checking the time when I wake up through the night now because it just depresses me. So it could be after 5 minutes, it could be after 15, it could be after 3 hours. I only really know by looking, towards the window and seeing how bright it is out there. But I think, it's after at least an hour, I'll wake up and she's still back on. On the odd occasion when I have checked the time, I've known for certain it's been like between 2 and 3 hours that she's just been latched on the whole time. And I've just been struggling with it. I've felt completely just touched out, and been feeling quite irritable. And I think naturally when you are starting to wean, your hormones go all over the place, so I'm sure there's like hormonal things at play. But yeah, I've just really just felt more ready than I ever have done to stop breastfeeding. So I made a decision this morning after kind of going down a little YouTube wormhole on different people's approaches on breastfeeding, on weaning a toddler from breastfeeding. A lot of the time that they're much younger. on most of the videos that I've watched, the kids are much younger, so I have to take it with a pinch of salt, because a 2.5-year-old will tell you what's what and what they want and what they're not going to deal with, and they will fight you much more than I guess the children of the people on other videos have been like 13, 14 months, 1.5 years, I think is the oldest. But I feel ready for the fight. I feel ready for the journey, because I'm really struggling to just kind of live my life. Like every time I try and do anything more than kind of like the day-to-day, I'm militant with my rest. I'm able to stay pretty consistent with my exercise and my yoga practice, but anything I try to do on top of that and motherhood, I just get burnt out so quickly. Like I've got so many things I want to do, goals to achieve. I've just registered to start go back to studying in September. I've been wanting to get back into working and put more products and services out there and work on my rebrand and all of that stuff. And I have so much drive and motivation to do it, but then when I'm actually able to do it and make time to do it, I just get burnt out so quickly. So yeah, that's what's brought me to the decision to do it, because I just need my energy back. I feel like I'm doing everything that I could do outside of that to have as much energy, working with the herbs. I've even reintroduced caffeine. I eat well mostly. We get fresh air, like on paper. I should be so energized, and I know I look great. My skin is great because I've been on holiday and I make great products for my skin. Watch this space, they'll eventually be available. So we'll see how it goes. I've called her grandma earlier today just to see if she's happy to take her for 2 nights this week, so over the weekend. I've got 13 seconds left of this recording, so part 2 incoming. I will let you know. I'll keep you updated. So first double night stay away from home this week.